DORK podcast with Rich Keefe. It's the DORK podcast with Davey. It's the DORK podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag DORK podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined by Dem Thrones boys, Ryan, Davey, and Chris Scheim, as we are here to recap the season finale of House of the Dragon Season 2. Davey, how are you?
I'm took everything in my power not to fall asleep and be here for this, but yeah, I'm good. How are you?
All right. Okay, is that indicative of the episode, or maybe you just had a weekend? I don't know.
A little bit. It's a little bit of the episode. I was a little underwhelmed.
Right.
We'll get into it though. We'll talk.
Scream, you?
Hi. Hey, I'm happy to be here, guys. This is great.
Yeah.
Great writing.
I will say this. Scheim was right last week when we were talking about, is the finale going to have like a big kind of war or like a payoff or like another dragon fight? And Scheim was like, I think it's kind of more headed towards season 3. You were 100% right about that. This was
100% right.
Lot more
credit to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I hate being right though. This is one of the few times in my life where I don't want to take a victory lap because it kind of stinks.
Yeah, I mean, listen, so first let's do this before we get into it, because obviously this is all spoilers anyway. But the DORK score or the DORK scale of 1 through 6, what would you give this season? So not this episode, but just this entire 8-episode season. What would your House of the Dragon Season 2 DORK score be? Davey?
4.5.
Scheim?
3.5.
I was tempted to go 5. I was teetering on a 5, and then I feel like the finale was like there was some good stuff we can talk about, but then overall I want to go 4.5 like Dave. And I think I gave season 1 like a 5.5. So even though season 2 had the single greatest episode of the series back in episode 4, overall, even with all the time jumps, I think I liked season 1. Maybe because I was like, I didn't know what was going on. Like they sort of like gave you some good dragon action, and like they were like sort of, this was more, all right, I kind of get it. Let's get going. Right. Like we joked about how Daemon was in Harrenhal for like 7 episodes, and you're like, let's go.
He's still there, by the way.
Has not left Harrenhal. He's there.
Has not.
For all 8 episodes. Yes, I'm going to go 4.5. But so, Scheim, you overall, you were...
He's still there.
No, he's not doing anything else. Hanging out. God damn it.
I loved season 1. I thought they were headed in the right direction, but outside of episode 4, which was great, and we got all that dragon action, it was tremendous. I loved every second of that episode. I felt like the entire season was relatively underwhelming. Like it's just... we kind of were just, I felt like I was on a Peloton, just pedaling in the same place. I wasn't really going anywhere. I felt like the story was being progressed at like a caterpillar's pace, when you could have, for a show that's been so fast paced up to this point, it feels like I got almost nowhere with an entire season. And when you look back through the history of Game of Thrones and everything like that, like the penultimate episode is supposed to be just like an absolute pants tent. We didn't get that. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they'll pay more stuff off in the finale and really set us up and really get us going. And I got let down even more, I felt like. And so for me, it's just like, it was all highs in episode 4. And then since then, it's just been like nothing.
I liked some of the dragon stuff, right? Like the new dragon riders. I thought that stuff was kind of cool. And we talked about it last week, but just anytime you get introduced to new dragons or you go into like a dragon pit, like that stuff is really cool. This episode, you get a little bit of is it Rhaena chasing her dragon, and then they eventually come face to face. But that's kind of it. I really like, there's a little bit like, obviously Rhaenyra takes her dragon to Harrenhal, but not doing anything. You see what Vhagar did, right? Like Aemon got pissed and fucking torches that place. But like, there really wasn't much dragon action in this episode.
No, and there was also like, there were 2 scenes in particular that like I keyed in on here that were a complete waste of time. Like I love how she that woman called them Tyrod, like Tyrod Taylor, like the Lannister guy. Like that was dumb. Like that's useless. Like you could do that next season. Like why introduce that now? And the other thing, like bringing the guy to Harrenhal now after he's been missing for like 4 episodes. Now you're like, oh yeah, he finally got there, and he was there for like a hot second, and then that was that. Nothing happened with that. Like that was such a waste of time.
That was crazy, and I understand that he didn't fly, but at the same time, it was like, Sir Strong sends a raven, gets to Rhaenyra takes her dragon. She's there in like 2 seconds, whereas that guy literally left, I think, in episode 4 and arrived.
Yeah.
Sir, not Aemon. I fucked it up every time, but you know who we're talking about. So he shows up in episode 8 and is like, hey man, and although pretty interesting Daemon stuff, to be honest, this episode. This was because they gave you a little bit of the okie doke where this whole time you're like, all right, he's definitely going to make a play for it. Then the dude shows up and is like, we need a king. Like, you're our guy. Then Alice brings him out. He touches the tree and he sees the Night King. He sees Daenerys with her 3 baby dragons. Like, he sees he sees the future, and it shook him, like it scared him. And he was like, so when Rhaenyra comes in, he's like, this ain't about this. Like, right? It's like what we heard a lot in Game of Thrones. He's like, winter is coming, and she's like, dude, you sound like my dad. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, you're it. He's like, he chose you, so like you're it. Like, let's go. But like, I thought that was pretty sweet.
The big thing for me though is, did we need him at Harrenhal for 6 episodes to have this one moment? Like, it's like you could have been at Harrenhal for like an episode or 2 and had this one moment. That's all you needed to do was introduce Alice, understand she was a bit of a witch, and then like he can have this moment. And then, but instead you dragged it out for 6 episodes, and it's like, brother, we could have trimmed so much fat and added so much actual story content to this. Like Rhaena, I don't need to see her traveling through the woods or the mountains and like sleeping and all this stuff. Just like encounter the dragon. It's not that hard. We know that's what she's after. You don't have to like show me that she's like going through all this trial and tribulation. Like, we get it. We understand. That's what she's looking for.
Yeah, I'm with you. And like, I agree. Like Daemon, like, they did such a good job in the very early episodes of Harrenhal being like, man, that place messes with you. And they introduced Alice right away. You're like, that's like what a character she is. Like, very like a lot of unknown. And then that tree, like if Daemon touched that tree in episode 3, I think we would have been on board. But that was still pretty wild. So he does all of that. I am with you. It is a little like, what are we doing here? Also, maybe we should have led the episode with this. We found out today that Aegon's cock got blown off. Blown right off his body. I believe the exact phrase was, it burst into flames like a sausage on a spit.
Yes.
My guy is struggling. My guy, like that. Holy mackerel, is that bad news?
He proceeded to say, just to take a piss, it goes down my leg.
Yeah. Clubfoot's like, dude, you're gonna be fine. He's like, no, fine.
No.
He's like,
can't even pee straight.
Like, dude, like, don't worry about what you look like. He's like, my cock exploded. I don't have
him and Dave need to start a like cock dysmorphia group.
Yeah, dude, it's bad. It's bad news bears. Oh, let's get Dave's out. Let's go Davey. Let's try to see if he's back in.
I don't know if there's a huge thunderstorm here.
Dave
I don't know
pops in. All good. He's in parts unknown right now, so his internet may be spotty. But
he's frozen. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Okay,
there he is.
Yeah, there's like a huge thunderstorm right now, and I'm not in a place with like the most reliable Wi-Fi, but I'm here.
Well, you're here just in time to get. What is your thoughts on Aegon getting his cock burnt off his body?
Like a split, like a sausage. I thought that was very descriptive. I thought that was needed because we have all these questions about this episode and the everything moving forward, but that's something I needed to know, and I'm glad the writers gave us that.
Well, he's down in the dumps, dude. Like it's one thing to look like Anakin Skywalker at the end of episode 3, but it's another thing to know that down there, disaster zone.
It is a disaster. It is gonzo.
Nothing left. You think that guy wants to be king? I bet he doesn't.
What good am I as a king if I can't swing? If I can't wield it,
Well, so he says he can piss. It just goes down his leg.
Yeah.
Can he finish?
Jesus, Gil. There's some things you just don't ask.
I know, but I think that question needed to be raised.
Yeah, probably.
Or does it go go in several directions?
Just kind of leak out.
Yeah. It's not good. It's a mess down there.
It doesn't get past the entrance.
I love the strategy though with Clubfoot, and he's like, dude, we got to get you out of here. And he's like, no, like, take me to the throne and I'll arrest Aemon. And then he's like, what are you gonna do when they show up without
And then
Vhagar?
what?
And he's like, I don't. And like the face that Clubfoot makes is just like, who are you dealing with right now? Like this is like you got to think at least like one step ahead. I'm trying to think 10 steps ahead. You're thinking not even one step ahead. But ultimately, gets him out of the city, and that also is gonna go in direct conflict with what Alicent's trying to do. That's the other big game changer in this episode. Even though we didn't get a dragon fight, we got a lot of chess piece moving, and Alicent shows up to Rhaenyra and is like, look, like this is ridiculous. Like nothing's working out the way I wanted. They were laying the groundwork for this all the way back in episode 1. You were like, Alicent doesn't want to be there anymore. And so she goes and talks to Rhaenyra, and then you get that line. She's like, Rhaenyra's like, well, I can't just do that. I can't just let you guys go. So it's going to be a son for a son. And Alicent's like, all right, deal. However, that son is now gone. That son's in a carriage and he's taken off with
so now
Essos or whatever.
Would you assume that it would have to be Aemon's head that comes off?
No, only because Aegon is still the king if he's alive, right?
Sure, yeah.
So, I mean, Aemon is what, the prince consort now, and
the prince regent or something.
Or the prince regent, prince regent, right. So I just think for Rhaenyra, for this plan to actually work, I think Aegon would have to be decapitated. It'd be this is the king, so now I'm in charge.
Unless because Aegon has fled, they declare him quote unquote dead, and then Aemon then becomes king, and then you murder Aemon.
Dude, I also think there's a workaround with this, because couldn't you just find a guy,
say it's Aegon,
burn half his face, cut his head off, and be like, we got him, and then be like, you guys disappear, we never want to see you again. But
yeah, just take the idiot new dragon rider. Oh,
you could do that.
That guy's a dickhead. Burn his face in half. You'll have no idea.
No respect by Ulf.
Good point. That's actually a good. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah,
because everyone hates that guy.
Yeah, guy's a dickhead.
He's not acting right. He's not acting right. Although Jace really let us down. Jace is one of our favorite characters early in the season. He's just stinks now. I hate Jace. He's
kind of just a whiny bitch now. Like it's like what?
And he had a great chance to pop Ulf one right there.
Yeah. And like Bela's like, yo, get your head out of your ass. Like figure it out. And like she's like trying to give him a pep talk, and he's just a little mopey McMoperson, and it's just stupid.
She's probably the best character, I would say. Bela. We need more of Bela. There's not nearly enough Bela. I like Hugh Hammer, and once we get him flying around on Big Verm, then I think we're gonna be cooking with gas.
Big Verm.
Then I think we really have something. But yeah, he was pretty much, there wasn't a lot of him this episode. We didn't see Big Verm once, actually.
No, we didn't, and we only saw even Ulf's dragon, at the very end there, right? Or was that Sea Smoke that flew over the banners?
I believe that was Sea Smoke, because I believe that's why she was like, hey, Adam, come with me.
Yeah.
You saw Big Verm right in the beginning, too. When he burned down the city.
No, that was Vhagar.
Vhagar.
Yeah, whatever city that was that he burned down.
No,
we're talking about Vermithor.
Dave's
hit it. Just...
Dave is he's got the
he's on vacation.
He's got the internet from Winterfell. Like this shit.
Oh, speaking of, by the way, great point in the chat by Corey. Winterfell made it to the Twins faster than like Sir Philip or whatever the fuck his name was made it to Harrenhal.
Yep. Oh, no doubt. Absolutely did. I think it was. Let me get that guy's name. Alfred, Sir Alfred.
Alfred, that's it.
I always say Aemon. All right, Dave's in the chat now. He tried it.
Perfect. Yeah, he gave it a good college try.
You're goddamn right, we did. By the way, there was a monkey at the beginning of the episode. I only point that out because what a season for animals. We got
great animal season.
Animals. The dog was really good.
Yep.
Obviously, all the dragons. There was different birds. What was the other fucking thing that we got? There's something else that we talked about early in the.
Didn't we see? We didn't see any wolves. Oh, what the?
No, there was something else though that was pretty great. Oh well, we saw a Lannister lion. We did see a lion.
That's what it was. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about Lannister in this episode. So Lannister,
God, this fucking guy.
he goes, is that the triarchy that he was going to talk to?
Correct. Yeah.
And so he's trying to like speak on behalf of Team Green, for lack of a better word. And he goes there, and they even were like, well, like we'll support you if you want, like at one point. And he's like, what? And then he's like, you're gonna go with, and they introduce a brand new character, Lohar.
Lohar.
So he's like, all right, so Lohar goes, he's introduced to Lohar. Then she's like, I'm not gonna captain anybody's boat that can't best me. Great line by Lannister. He goes, in what?
And then like 4 scenes later, it cuts to them just like in a mud pile.
Mud pit.
Just mud wrestling.
Mud wrestling with the best of them.
Olympic sport.
It could be. And then he got a couple of shots in there. And then she was like, I want you to sleep with all of my wives.
Well, that was I gotta say, as stupid as this whole interaction was between the two of them, and as way too much of it we got this episode, that part was hilarious where she's like, I want you to father children by me. And he's like, come again. She's like, yeah, I want you to have sex with my wives. And he goes, well, how many wives do you have? Which we didn't even get the answer for, by the way.
No, we didn't. How many do you think would be doable for young?
She's a woman of many tastes. So I would say 7. 7's a lucky number.
I don't know if he's got it in him. After
that nerd? Come on now.
I don't think he's got it in him. I don't think he does. But yeah, so we got some more Lannister. But I also think Cole kind of sums up the whole thing. So then we get our guy Gwaine.
Mm-hmm.
He confronts Cole, and Cole's like, I don't even want to be around anymore. He's like, what the fuck's the point of any of this?
Yes.
He's like, this is all shitty anyway. He's like, dude, have you been listening to The Cure a lot? He's like, yeah.
He's like, have you seen those dragons? Like, we can't do anything. What are we even doing here?
There's fucking people down here. They're gonna light us on fire. To which I would say, he's right.
He's not wrong, and he's just getting a good huff in of Allison's napkin.
He's just sniffing her panties. You're like, dude, can you put those down? I'm her brother. For Christ's sake.
Gwaine's literally like, yeah, dude, that's my sister. What are we doing?
No, but then like even Gwaine sits. I think Gwaine even had a realization where he's like, yeah. Like, where are we going? What are we doing? Like, how much can we even do? Well, that's it. Especially when there's so many dragons. It's different in Game of Thrones where Daenerys comes on board. There's only 3. People hadn't seen him in such a long time. They also did have those dragon like dart guns or whatever those were, like those big
giant ballasts or whatever.
They had those, but I could see being like not as pessimistic then, like being impressed, but like not as pessimistic. Now it's like there's at least 10 dragons that we know about.
Yeah.
So you're like, why are we doing this land?
It's a whole different ball game. Like in Game of Thrones, you had 150 years to prepare if a dragon ever returned. Whereas here, it's like people just don't know how to fight dragons. They have no answer for them, so they become almost irrelevant. It literally only matters who has a dragon. If you have a dragon, you have power, and which people have the most dragons.
So they made a comment. 2 different comments in this. One, that they said Rhaenyra has 7 dragons, and then somebody said Rhaenyra has 6 dragons. And so was that just because it was from Rhaenyra's camp? Because I think it was Clubfoot told Aegon that she has 7 dragons.
Correct.
And then Corlys was like, well, hey, you have 6. Was that just because Daemon's, he kind of didn't really count?
Yes, exactly. They were unsure of Daemon's at the time. Now you definitely have Daemon, so you absolutely have 7 dragons on your side.
7 goddamn.
It is literally 7-1. Like Helena's like, yeah, I'm not fighting. My dragon's not doing anything. We're not burning people alive.
I do love how they talk the dragons up though in this show. Like they like hype them up because they're like, well, they only have 1 dragon. They're like, well, what about? And she's like, Helena. She's like, well, they're like, she has Dreamfire. She's like, well, Dreamfire is formidable. Like,
yeah, Dreamfire knows what's up, but Helena's not a warrior.
It's a big hoss of a dragon. Dreamfire, I think we determined last week, is the 5th biggest dragon of all time, maybe.
Yeah, at least according to that chart you had, and like the 3rd biggest alive, because I think it's Vhagar, Big Verm, and then Dreamfire.
Yeah, so and I think Dreamfire could be if Dreamfire gets called into action. I think Dreamfire could be swayed. I also think, I know Helena doesn't want to fight, but I think Helena has been through a tremendous amount, and I think she could fucking just lose her mind up there and be like, I don't want to hurt anybody. But then she's like, if you're going to try to hurt me, like, I'm going to lose my fucking mind.
Well, if I'm Aemond, I need the dragon. Wouldn't he just kill his sister and get somebody new to ride the dragon?
Now, I don't know a lot about dragons.
Yep.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yep.
Do you think Dreamfire would know that Aemond killed his rider and then therefore wouldn't be? Maybe not, but I wonder if they have that kind of connection where he'd be like, I don't trust this fucking guy. Like, yeah, somebody else will ride me, but I'm not teaming up with him.
I haven't watched the final season of Game of Thrones many times over, so I don't remember. But did Daenerys's dragon watch Jon Snow kill her, or did it just know that Jon Snow killed her?
Yeah, good point. I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It escapes me.
But yeah, I think that's what we said even throughout the year is like, all right, Vhagar is so intense and he's just such a big prick of a guy. Find Aemon, who is like 90 pounds soaking wet.
Murk him and call it a day.
Yep, that's it. Vhagar can either fly away and eat whatever he wants, eat sheep, whatever he wants to eat, or
Vhagar just wants to lay in the forest. Like it literally just every time we see it, it's laying down in the forest, just nice and cuddled up with the trees.
He did have a good snooze.
Yeah.
He had a lot of good snoozes. That's true. I did like how Damon was talking about his dragon Caraxes, and they're like, well, he eat pigs. Like, he prefers pigs.
Yeah, he prefers them.
He loves pigs. Go scale, get him a bunch of pigs.
Yeah, you don't need goats. Get him pigs. That's fine.
All right, but so anyway, so it's 7 dragons to 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, because then they're also talking about the youngest of Alicent's kids, or the youngest of her sons or kids.
Darren.
Yeah, he has Viserion.
Something like that. Yeah, but it's like a hatchling dragon. It is tiny.
That's not the one that was in the room hopping around, was it?
No. That was Rhaenyra and Daemon's kid. Also I believe might be named Aegon. He had a little hatchling dragon. Yeah.
The names are tough. Now, it would also be weird if it was just like Pete, Phil, and Mike, but I also think like it's tough to keep track. If we're being honest, it's tough. It's a tough thing.
I'm trying to find Darren's dragon here. Hold on.
I think it might be Viserion or something to that effect. But either way, so anyway, 7 to 1.
Tessarion. Well done.
Okay, yeah. But I feel like Ulf is obviously very much a wild card. And if Jace is going to keep big time in him and like, not that he shouldn't, like, I get where Jace is coming from, but Jace is also a dink about it and like just handle it differently.
Yeah.
Ulf is just in it to, have wine and riches and be like this cool. Like, he was already talking shit before he had a dragon. So clearly he's going to be like that more so now that he has a dragon.
Absolutely.
But he could be swayed easily. He could be on somebody else's team tomorrow.
Yeah, the issue is like getting in touch with him, I think, and like actually having the ability to offer him those things. But yeah, I mean, he's just out for himself. That's all he's out for. At least it feels like Hugh Hammer has some sort of loyalty, and clearly Adam of Hull is very loyal, or at least seems very loyal. And so Ulf is like the one big wild card.
He is. So Ulf has Silverwing, and I love how he was like, like, we'll take on Vhagar by ourselves. It's like, Silverwing's a badass. It's like, we got this. And they're like, what are you talking about, dude?
Like, dude, you've been riding a dragon for like a day.
10 minutes. You've been in it goddamn 10 minutes. And he's out there trying to
never even swung a sword.
Not once. But he's one where I don't think that like Aemond would know to recruit, but it would be one of those things where Ulf would just have enough of it and then fucking take off on his own, and then maybe meet up with them and be like, fuck these guys. Like, I'm on, you know what I mean? Like that
just like show up at King's Landing and be like, hey, Aemond, I'm on your side now.
Yeah. Also, I think even though a lot of people speculated this, I think we finally got confirmation that Sunfire, the dragon of Aegon, died.
Correct. Aegon outright said, my dragon is dead.
My dragon's dead and my cock blown off.
Blown off.
Those are the two breaking news sounders of
the biggest news of the entire season. That's what they were saving this for. They were saving the finale for those two things.
What a news drop here on the final episode of House of the Dragon.
Unbelievable.
What else did we get? The Sea Snake changed the name of his boat to the Queen That Never Was.
Yep. Everything he does for Rhaenys.
Yep. He had So they're obviously setting up for something because they wasted. Whether they wasted or they utilized this time, he had like a long argument with another one of his sons, like a back and forth. So not Adam, who's on the dragon, but I think it's Alan.
Or Alan. Yeah, Alan.
Jesus Christ.
Now all these A names. There's Aegon and Adam and Alan and oh god.
Son of a bitch. But he has a whole back and forth with him. And this is also going to set up, I would assume, for next season. You're going to get that, like the old Sea Snake ship versus Lohar and Lannister, and all those. They're going to be like a sea battle, right?
Correct. Which could be cool. Like if you actually showed us a sea battle this season, it would have been dope. Sea battles are fun. We've seen a few of them in Game of Thrones, and they can be pretty cool.
Yeah, we didn't get a ton of.
We got the one battle, right? It was just the one dragon fight all season. That's like really the only fighting we got all season, right?
Yeah, because they did like the thing where they cut away. Remember, there was like those two houses that hate each other.
Yeah, the Brackens and the Blackwoods.
Then they like cut away, and then there's like all these dead bodies.
They also could have like, I don't know, instead of showing us the Lannister thing this season, saved it for next season and showed us Aemond lighting up Sharpstone or whatever it was, and like giving us some action. Like it just, I don't know, a lot of missteps in my opinion.
Christopher in the chat says, did we see the other Valerian son die? I don't believe we saw him die, but I think he's dead, right?
So Rhaenyra's ex-husband, technically.
Yeah, I think he's dead because his dragon's flying on somebody else, right?
Well, yeah, they shipped him off. I remember that in like the little boat, and disappeared forever. So he definitely didn't come back. But
okay, all right.
I don't know if dragons are like homing pigeons and they just like know where their rider is. But clearly, Sea Smoke didn't. So he's either dead or they don't have that ability.
Yeah, Davey says maybe he took off to Bravos.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. So maybe we'll run into him again. I also think, going back to Helena for a moment, we got as much dialogue from Helena in this episode probably as we have in I don't know, the whole series. I think she could make a push for a great character. I really do, because she's been through some shit. She's not taking aim and shit. She stands up to him. And when you get that whole scene with Daemon touching,
she popped up in his little dream thing.
Yes. And then it like cut away, and it was her standing there and cut away. So she sees the future too. She
multiple times now has been like said things and things came true. Like she talked about the rat catchers, and then all of a sudden Ratcatcher kills her son. And so like she has said, I think, and she even said something in season 1 that came to fruition as well. So she clearly is kind of tapped into that Targaryen ability to see the future.
Yeah. Like a warg. That's sort of a different thing, because she'd be like wargish.
Yeah, so it's more like the magic of old Valyria, because that's what runs through the veins of the Targaryens, is kind of influencing them, where like the Starks are legit like wargs.
Do you think they saw each other during that, like Daemon and Helena? Do they see each other? Because Daemon,
probably,
the way that it's shot, it looks like Daemon saw her, but the way it's also cut, I don't know. I feel like Helena, when she sees things, maybe she saw some of that same stuff with the three-eyed raven. Maybe she also saw Daemon as a part of this shit too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if she saw Daemon as well, and she was kind of in on the vision.
But then Aemon's like, well, what if I just killed you? And she's like, it wouldn't change anything. And I was like, dude, that is the coldest thing you could say. If somebody threatens to kill you and you're like, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
just
like,
okay.
Person, like,
I'll just go fuck myself then.
I'm like, did you hear what I said? She's like, yeah.
Yeah. I don't give a shit.
He's like, do you know what's happened to me in the last fucking 3 weeks? Like, do you have any idea what's happened to me? I don't care.
My son got murdered in his crib.
Yep. While I was like right there. I
almost got killed walking around the city with my mom.
Yeah. And my husband, who is my brother,
doesn't have a cock.
Off. I don't know if that's good or bad news for me at this point.
I wasn't the one that blew it off him either. It just popped like a sausage.
But I'll tell you, even though I think, this season could have been better, I'm still excited for season 3, because I think maybe we'll get some of this payoff. And I think a character like Helena, I think is going to be like a big time payoff. I think a character like Rhaena and Bela, like I think they're both going to really could pop off in the next season. Hugh Hammer, you're going to get more of him with Big Verm. Like I think, unfortunately, it was mostly build up, but I think that at least could end up being it for like a really good season of television.
Yeah, I think season 3 should be, it's pacing in that direction that it would be like the best season so far of the show. They have to pay off all these things though, right? They have to give us that sea battle between Lohar and the sea snake, and you have to give us dragon battles between Vagar and I don't know, any of the 7, now possibly 8 if Rhaena has a random dragon on Rhaenyra's side. Like, you got to give us some of that.
All right, a couple of questions from the chat. Dina says, are both fleets for Team Rhaenyra? Not the water fleet. Are you talking about the water fleets? No, because the one that Lannister and Lohar are for
Aemon.
Team Green, Aegon, Aemon, whoever's in charge over there.
Yep.
The Sea Snake is for Rhaenyra. But I think the big pivot, the big thing in this episode is everybody that Daemon was recruiting. In the back of my mind, he was just recruiting it for himself, but he is now supporting Rhaenyra. So now Rhaenyra has a huge land army, a decent sea army, and 7 dragons.
She is clearly the leader in power right now.
So it's overwhelming, but her big thing that she's dealt with this entire season is, I could fucking take over, but I'm probably going to have to kill thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I've built up such a great army that the other side should forfeit, but they're not doing that. So now I got to torch everybody. And even she doesn't really want to. And even Hugh Hammer and Adam were like, wait a minute, what? Like, we're going to go.
Yeah. And Ulf, that would clearly be a turning point, I think, for Ulf being one of those common people. And same with Hugh Hammer, right? They were part of the common folk. And they're going to be like, wait, you're going to go burn all those people alive? Like, those are the people that you just tried to help give dragons like us. Like what you're supposed to be helping us.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but like, she doesn't want to, and she's been pushed. Everybody's been saying for her to do that since Jump Street, and she hasn't. And now she's like, maybe I will. But now, do you think she goes with this Alicent plan, which I think would backfire because Aegon's not there? But she's like, 3 days, show back up with your dragons. We don't have to kill anybody, and like, we'll just give up.
Yeah, I think she's going to try, but she also needs to be prepared for a trap. Like, it could just easily be a classic Admiral Akbar. You have to be prepared for the trap.
I agree. Animal King in the chat says, what was the dragon the girl encountered at the end? So the girl is Rhaena, right?
Yes.
So Rhaena, who a couple of times tried to sync with Big Verm. It didn't work. When she was 4 and when she was 10, didn't work. This, I think they call it the Sheep Stealer. Oh, yeah, Davey's got it. Yeah, they're calling this dragon the Sheep Stealer.
Yeah, because it's just flying around the Vale, eating everybody's sheep.
Yep. Yeah, it's just pretty much and it's big, right? Because you saw like how much damage it's done and all that stuff. So she's chasing it down, trying to get it, and then you get like a little bit of a face-to-face at the very end. But we don't even see her ride it. Like, I thought they would at least get there.
Or like meet it, like actually go up and get it, like make it her own. And but apparently not.
But it is kind of crazy, like, you know, if she, and we assume that she's going to get this Sheep Stealer, that's all of a sudden 8 dragons to 1.
Yeah, it's also different from the books, because I think in the books, technically, like those 3 eggs that they referenced that they said were actually Daenerys's eggs actually like hatched for her, and she took one of those. So it's a clear pivot point from that.
Oh, okay. Oh, like the Daenerys eggs are like that old?
Yeah, well, that's what one of the showrunners had said. Like, yeah, it was a clear reference to Daenerys's eggs and blah blah blah. Whereas in reality, in the book, I believe one of those eggs hatches and becomes her egg or her dragon.
All right. What do you think? Another question. What do you think swallowed up by the god's eye meaning? He will die from a dragon. So that's what Helena said, right?
I believe so.
It was swallowed up by the god's eye. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Aegon.
Eye of the Storm?
Aegon's gonna get got at some point. Yeah,
Aegon's toast. That guy is. I don't even know why he's escaping with Clubfoot. What is there to escape to? You can't have kids,
right?
Because you don't have a cock, as we found out.
No, but Aegon has a son though, still. Or no, I'm sorry, a daughter, right?
Yeah, technically has a daughter, but like, if you just leave King's Landing, who's to say that daughter's gonna live?
Yeah, right.
So if she doesn't live, you have no heirs, you have no cock. so no ability to make heirs. You have half a face. You're a cripple. You're not taking the throne back, no matter what you do. And which is why I think it's so weird that Clubfoot was like, "Yeah, we're gonna get you out of the city."
It is a little bit of a miscalculation, perhaps, by Clubfoot.
Yeah, like, dude,
Who's
just
he backing here? What's the play?
there's no play. That's why it's so weird to me. I'm like, why are you leaving the city?
Yeah.
Who cares? You're useless at this point.
Although, actually, you know what? Maybe I think the swallowed up by the gods, was that what Helena said to Aemond? Maybe was she talking about him dying that way?
Oh, I forget.
I
I don't
forget
remember
too.
exactly what she said that too.
That was a good line because she was just like spitting fire at him. So I was like, God damn, like she's got something going.
She's coming
here.
in hot.
She was coming in real hot. Oh, we also saw appeared to be captured Otto Hightower.
Yes, at the very, very end, you saw him like in a cage.
Yeah, what the fuck? That reminded me of when we saw Jagan Hagar. Remember, he was like,
Yes,
when Arya met him on one of the many times she met him, and he was like, he was a prisoner
with the murderers. Yeah.
He was like locked up in there.
Which is weird. So, like, who would he have been captured by? Right? Because he was supposed to be going to Highgarden, I believe, right, to take care of some turmoil going on over there. So, who would have captured him?
Yeah, it's a great question. Is there somebody
Clearly, Rhaenyra doesn't have him. Otherwise, she would have said something about it.
Yeah, Rhaenyra doesn't have him. Never mentioned it at any point. I don't think Daemon at this.
No, he's too busy fighting off ghosts in Luigi's mansion.
Yeah, he's having a hard time keeping his head straight,
tripping on those mushrooms.
So I guess. Well, what about like would Clubfoot have any kind of hand there? Because that's another guy that I think is better off with him not being around. But he's also
maybe. But again, what's the play? Aemond doesn't want Otto Hightower around, so maybe Aemond was the one that captured him. Like he secretly captured his grandfather and like has him stashed away because he just doesn't want him interfering with. But didn't he request for him to come back? Now I'm confusing myself.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, Aemond did want him back, which I was surprised.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be him either. Why would Clubfoot hold on to Otto Hightower? That's not even a real chess piece. Like it's like I don't.
Lannister. Doubt it.
Not definitely not Thailand. That guy's a nerd.
I like how she called him a different name every time too.
It's so good.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh, here we go from the chat. God's Eye is the lake just outside of Harrenhal.
Oh, that makes sense. So it gets swallowed up by the lake.
There you go.
So there must be a giant battle that should happen right there outside Harrenhal. And Daemon will probably get murked by Vhagar and fall into the lake.
Probably could. Jason says, wasn't Clubfoot supposed to go get Otto like 3 episodes ago? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, not you, you toad. He's like, I don't want you. I want Otto as my hand.
Get him back here.
Yeah. So that is one weird thing about this show. Like certain things take forever to get a message across, then other things happen immediately. Like you just texted somebody. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. You got to kind of keep track of it. All right. So Scheim, you didn't love the season overall. You're going 3.5 more just because of lack of action.
Yeah. It felt like we were just kind of running in place for 6/8 of the season.
Yeah. So Davey's thinking maybe because Clubfoot was supposed to get Otto, maybe he's the one who knew where Otto was and now has held him captive. Yeah,
Clubfoot really stinks at playing the the ladder is chaos is a ladder game, so I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. That's a good call. My fear is we're probably not going to get another season for like 2 years, 3 years, 2.5 years, something like that. Because the show takes a lot to make. I mean, the dragons look sick though. They did a good job. When we saw the dragons, they look badass.
Yeah, like even this episode when they showed Lohar and she was like snickering, and then it immediately cut to the dragon kind of like growling. I'm like, that's great scene work. Good job by you. They needed more. I just needed more dragons. Show me more dragons.
You never have enough dragons. This show has had a decent amount of dragons, but you could always go with some more. So let us know what you guys thought of the season finale as well as the season as a whole at Dork Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. You can always get in on the YouTube chat. You can email us dorkpodcast@gmail.com. Any final thoughts on the episode or the season, Scheim?
No, I think we did a good job summing it up. You know, just let's get into. Give me some more action. I need something. I need battles. I need people dying. That's what I need. I need people to die. Nobody died. Nobody of importance really died outside of
Aegon's cock.
Sunfire. And Aegon's cock. Yeah.
Aegon's cock and Sunfire were the only ones.
Well,
Well,
Rhaenys. Yeah. I guess
Rhaenys
that
and
one happened
Rhaenys
4 episodes
died.
ago.
Yeah, it was 4 episodes ago. But there wasn't a single named character that died in the finale, which is
In the last 3 episodes.
that's crazy because usually you get big ones in the penultimate
Somebody
episode.
needs to die. Like too many people are alive. You need to kill people.
Yeah. Yeah. So Davey says his final thought is the Lakes region internet is for shit. 1 out of 6 stones. So TBD for tomorrow's dork. We were supposed to do Batman Caped Crusader. That may be.
Ooh, have you watched that?
I have 1 episode left. So yeah, we're doing it.
Nice.
We're scheduled to do it tomorrow. I have 1 episode left. Yeah.
Nice.
So I'll talk to Dave.
Cool.
Maybe we'll have to postpone that or we'll figure something out. But that is going to be the plan for Dork tomorrow. If not, check the Twitter. I'll let you guys know at Dork Podcast if we're on and popping for 9:00 tomorrow or if we are going to postpone. But that'll do it, Scheim. Another successful Dem Thrones boys. Look forward to doing it again whenever it pops up.
Keefe, I can't wait till we ride again.
That's right. That's right.
Hopefully I will have my banner ready to rise.
With more sweet Aegon will not, however.
Yeah, no, he will not.
More sweet
he
dragon.
Will forever be at no mast.
No mast. Nope. Sad, piss down your leg mask. But that'll do it for us. Thanks for listening. Tell a friend, tell a dork. That is our House of the Dragon season 2 finale episode. And we'll talk to everybody soon.
See ya.